Members of the UF Chabad Center are responding to anti-Semitic messages that were left feet away from their facility.
TV 20's Lali Salachi tells us why they say these acts will only unite them.
The entire Gainesville is not one of hate, not one of bigotry, not one of anti-Semitism.
Officials at the UF Chabad Jewish Student and Community Center found multiple anti-Semitic chalk-written messages on and off campus.
I found out about what was happening on campus by walking around to my classes this morning. They were spread out everywhere on campus, and it made me feel really sad.
The graffiti included messages like Christ is King, #Yay24, referencing rapper Kanye West, who previously made anti-Semitic remarks.
Hate-filled messages of anti-Semitism, bigotry of any kind is unacceptable. Our message is this will not only not have an effect, but this will unite our community, meaning the campus and Gainesville community, even more.
Many of the messages were found on sidewalks like this one. Rabbi Goldman says they were removed immediately, and he may know who was responsible.
It's a very small fringe group. Law enforcement and many others are aware of who they are. They always walk, unfortunately, a fine line between free speech and hate speech.
University of Florida President Kent Fox responded with a statement condemning the act that happened hours after the organization hosted a Holocaust survivor.
It's very important to make sure that these people that are committing the hate crimes know that they're not welcome here and that there's no place in our community or in our campus for this type of behavior.
UF police and state law enforcement agencies are now investigating who vandalized the campus. In Gainesville, Lali Salachi, TV 20 News.